Nice to meet you, Guy. Basically, I have been working in investment banking industry for more than 5 years. So I'm the senior associate in one of the most important international banks in the world. And basically, I work in IBD and ECM side, so I'm more familiar with the equity product instead. But if you are talking about other product teams like M&A or debt side, I'm not that knowledgeable in that side, but still you can ask some other questions related to that. So basically for the investment bank, we will have front office and middle office. So investment banking would be, of course, the front office. As you can see from the slides here, we will have different functions team, including industry coverage, which means like retail or TMT or healthcare. And we have different product group. For example, capital markets is indeed one of the product group. For example, ECM, DCM, and other product group will be M&A, leverage finance, and structured product. And apart from this IBD umbrella, we have sales and trading and equity research. So for the middle office, we do have other team supporting, for example, trade support, portfolio credit analysis, pricing, and other weightings. But I would say from the existing structure in the investment bank, we also cut the headcount for the middle office because sometimes front office need to deal with those middle office stuff as well. So you can go to another slide here. So investment banking would be the starting point to connect with the client. Basically, it's about governments, corporations, or other small listed or unlisted companies. So we do advisory or underwriting service to them. So it's the private side of business, but investment banking business will bring public side business as well. So let's imagine. If you bring the unlisted company to get listed through IBD, and then afterwards, the listed company can do the share buyback. Okay, so it's another source of business to the sales and trading team. Other than that, if you bring the listed company to your investment bank, the shareholder will probably open the account with that investment bank. So they will sell the shares or even buy the shares back. Then it also brings the business to the sales and trading. For the research side, normally the international bank will sell the research report to the institutional investors. So they will start to cover different listed company. For example, if Morgan Stanley today help a healthcare company to get listed, and that healthcare company is focused on a very specific biotech stuff, and it's really unique business, then it can also help the research to get access to the management, because for example, IBD, of course, has been working on that project for more than 1 year. Then it really knows the management really well. Then you can bring the management to the research side, and they can access to the company, and then to see whether they can start the initial coverage to that company. And it also brings the business to the public side of business. So it's the structure between the private side of business and public side of business. And in between, there is a Chinese wall. So in terms of the partition, your sitting position, and also the business communication, you are in control because you cannot directly communicate to the guys with sales and trading team and research team. So we can also move to another slide here. So for the IBD umbrella, as I had mentioned, we have different products. IBD will be the coverage team. And afterwards, we have different small teams to support the IBD. For example, I'm working in the ECM side. So I will work with the IPO, follow-on transactions, and also convertible. But sometimes for some of the banks, they may have structured finance team or other CB, EB teams specific on working with CB or EB stuff. So for my side, I don't need to work with CB actually in my bank. So my main product would be IPO and also follow-on. So for most of this product, I need to work with the IBD as well, because IBD will be the starting contact point with that clients. So when they bring the clients to the bank, and we will provide enough advisory to the clients to see whether different product can suit the business model more. And then we will try to refer to the different product teams to work on that specific product. So, for example, once the IBD, like the coverage team contact the client and the client want to do the IPO, they will refer to the ECM team to work together on the IPO pitches and also and also structure the deals like marketing plan, for example, and also the valuation, pricing, etc. So for the follow-on transaction, it's more likely the secondary market stuff. For example, the shareholders can do the sell down, or also they would maybe do the top-up placement or other like new share reissuing. For example, it's that kind of follow-on transactions. And for the debt side, you can like see from here, we can like issue the bonds and loans and or other structured high yield bonds to the client. Other than that, we still have like the third main product, for example, M&A. For M&A, sometimes they will work with the leverage finance team because if the target company need to do some of the leverage to finish the whole transaction, then they need the leverage finance team. But for the M&A teams in Hong Kong, I would say more likely is the cross-border transactions already, because normally in the past, the Chinese company may acquire Chinese company, but nowadays it's like Chinese company to acquire overseas assets, or like or the Western company go into China to acquire the Chinese company. So it's more like a cross-border transaction. So you can see from like maybe Morgan Stanley or like Goldman Sachs, they will have the cross-border M&A transaction team. So you can move to another slide here. So basically, I would say for the industry coverage, is the most technical and important team in the bank. Because we divide them into different like industry group. Nowadays, I would say the most important two sectors will be healthcare and TMT. Because in the past, it's of course the FIC team, finance team would be the main like revenue contributor to the group. Because in the past, you can see lots of banks, lots of insurance company or securities firm will go listed, but now they are all got listed already. So it's moved to another sector like healthcare and TMT. As you can see from last year, the largest IPO in Hong Kong or in the Greater China area would be technology group. For example, Meituan and also Xiaomi. And for healthcare, we have a lot of like biotech company to get listed, because starting from last year, Hong Kong Stock Exchange start to like have a special conditional offer to those pre-revenue and pre-profit healthcare company to get listed in Hong Kong. So because in the past, only NASDAQ can do that kind of listing, but Hong Kong Stock Exchange saying that they get a lot of business there, but like we start to lose the competitive advantage in terms of the biotech company getting listed in Hong Kong. So they start to get that kind of restructuring and start to allow those companies to get listed in here. So healthcare becomes a hot sector, but I would say in Hong Kong, Morgan Stanley is the pioneer in that sector in healthcare. So it's basically monopolized the whole business of healthcare, including IPO and also secondary follow-on transactions. So if you are really interested in healthcare sector, you can definitely like apply for the role in Morgan Stanley, because they really do a lot of things in here. And also another like middle market bank would be Jefferies. Jefferies really focus on healthcare as well. Yeah, so for the third main sector will be consumer and retail. So you can see Haidilao, and also like Meituan is also part of consumer. So you can see consumer and also the hit sector for the coming years as well. So yes, basically I go through here, but I would say in terms of the technical skills, if you need to be very, very knowledgeable in terms of the financial modeling and also the financial knowledge, you can definitely choose M&A. Because for the M&A deal, I would say the success rate is rather low. Normally, if you work in the big bank, the success rate is only maybe 1 out of 10 transactions, because you know, like for M&A, you need to find the target, but you need to have a lot of negotiation with the target company. But as always, the target company will not satisfy with the valuation and the offer provided by the buyer. So in that case, the success rate is really low, but the fee rate is really high. For example, you can see normally the fee rate is 2% to 3% of the transaction value. So if